Much, Jeff.
Thank you.
Today, millennials make up 35% of the workforce. A recent survey shows a surprising trend. Millennials are trading in their high-paying full-time jobs for travel and freelance work. Their exit from the workforce impacts the bottom line of big companies. Experts say companies need to recognize the trend or face costly expenses in loss of productivity and personnel. Carolina Impact's Tanisha Johnson helps us understand the details.
Working 9 to 5 used to be the way to make a living, but that's changing.
I'm going to give you 3 reasons why working at 9 to 5 is a terrible idea.
Goodbye to the status quo.
And millennials are leading the way.
Quit my job.
In a survey of some 10,000 24 to 35-year-olds, they're quitting high-paying, big company jobs to live on their own terms by taking on freelance work, new business ventures.
Quitting my job and starting my own marketing agency at the time, just a response to feeling powerless.
And to travel.
We went to 19 countries.
5 years ago, 30-year-olds Maggie and Sebastian Williams took off around the world for 9 months.
The trip is a great way to really, make that move and go and be disconnected from everything.
We wanted a reset. We didn't know what we wanted to do next, but it didn't matter, right? Like, we wanted to learn about ourselves. We wanted to have this opportunity.
This morning, we focus on how millennials are reinventing the traditional concept of employment.
Going off the grid is a trend that's making the news across the country. UNC Charlotte professor Jamie Beauchamp studies millennials and says this is the new normal.
If it means they can't or they choose not to work for a company where they feel like they're chained to their desk for 50 hours a week, having not a lot of freedom or flexibility or autonomy in their job, then for sure, they are definitely leaving in droves.
Most of us go through life with a game plan and we have an idea of what we want to do next. But millennials, they don't mind jumping ship and taking risks even if they don't have one. In fact, 4 out of 10 are expected to leave their jobs within the next 2 years, according to a Deloitte study.
The goal for that is that we'll have the apartment events lined up that week as well.
When Maggie and Sebastian called it quits, they worked a few odd jobs in between, but ended up starting Skipper in 2016. An on-demand, high-tech dog walking company. The couple says they didn't leave their business consulting jobs because of burnout or lack of growth in their skill sets. Instead, they left because they didn't see a clear future for themselves.
Interacting with your peers and people who are your superiors, and you think, do I want that life 10 years from now, 20 years from now? And I think it was clear to me that that wasn't necessarily my path.
Professor Beauchamp says not knowing which path to take keeps a lot of millennials moving and searching.
A lot of that has to do with some of these struggles and these tensions with, I want to pursue these passions, I want to have a purpose in life, and this job is preventing me from doing that.
But she also says many are frustrated because they're not always getting what they want or need from employers.
They want autonomy in their jobs. They want opportunities for growth and development. They like regular feedback from their supervisors, from their peers. They like working in groups.
If they can find the right place with the right people,
It's also the most fulfilling thing I've ever done, and it makes me feel so alive.
they'll stay. Meeting a need and creating meaningful work, something millennials want, are probably key reasons why Skipper is so successful. In 2 years, they've built a team of over 50 employees and added 2 new locations in Texas.
Even though I work harder than I've ever worked before, I feel like I have the most energy that I've ever had.
While they're on a fast track, many Fortune 500 companies are seeing the opposite happen as millennials find success elsewhere.
So if you think about it in terms of a larger company that's 500 employees or 1,000 employees, it can cost that company $300,000 per year to replace all of the millennials that leave that year.
According to the study, if companies want to attract and keep millennials, they'll need to provide more flex time, more vacation time, and more time developing interpersonal skills, all the while making adjustments to leadership styles.
Organizations are having to come up with strategies that can really bend towards these ideas of leading authentically and bringing your whole self to work and demonstrating emotional intelligence, demonstrating patience and deference and humility.
Research shows this trend of millennials trading in their high-paying jobs for other alternatives doesn't seem to be slowing down.
I think it's about being fulfilled and understanding that we only have one shot
at this, and that we want to be able to feel like we're moving forward and feeling that and not feeling stuck.
At first glance, things may seem the same, but change is taking place. And if employers want to succeed with millennials, they'll have to pay attention, because by 2020, this group will make up half of the workforce. For Carolina Impact, I'm Tanisha Johnson reporting.
Thanks so much, Tanisha. Researchers say this trend makes it tough for companies to close the gap in business knowledge between millennials, Gen Xers, and the baby boomers. Well, healthcare is one of